We're here.
Wait, I
We're
hate
here.
music.
You hate
Hello?
music? That's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah.
We're here.
Have you tried getting that checked out?
Yeah. The doctor says I'm fucked and that I'm fat and that I should give him $500.
$500. Damn, do you not have insurance?
I do. It's just
That would
that
the
usually,
insurance.
yeah, that's after the insurance. Then usually I'd have to pay $2,000 for them to call me fat and fucking stupid.
Oh no.
Ah, how loud is this? Trying to trying to stare at the little sound bleepies.
Sound
Sound
bleepies.
bleepies, you know?
Fleepies.
The sound bleepies.
Do.
Dude, why can I not log into Kofi?
Uh-oh.
I can... Correction. I can't log into it on my little thing. My little Twitch window, but I can usually on the actual website.
Okay.
Why did
Tish.tv. What?
A line? I don't know. I can get rid of the line.
This is where I draw the line.
you drew a line. It's not very good.
Hey.
Sorry. Are we gonna like make a flag again?
That's why I drew the line. I was like, oh.
Okay, this is mine.
I'll get rid of my shitty line.
Yeah. That's mine.
Oh, you area.
This is my spot.
I'm just gonna gerrymander.
What the fuck?
I'm just gonna gerrymander.
Hey.
Here's my congressional district.
Hey.
What's happening here?
Hey.
Here's my congressional district.
Stop it. Stop. Stop that.
Why does this look like
good.
Missouri?
Missouri.
I kid.
Missouri mention. Mississippi. Louisiana.
Bro, this is a squares. Bro, this is rectangle.
What are you saying?
Good news.
I already got called out for my shitty line, so I'm not gonna draw another shitty line.
You see what you did? Now they can't even fucking draw a line.
You can try again. I believe in you. You can try. You can do it. Come on. Try again.
Draw more shitty lines. Leave me alone.
You can try again. You can try again. Ow.
Wow.
Yup.
Fucking crooked. Yeah, a shitty line. Boy, leave me alone. I know my lines are shitty. Not everybody can be fucking perfect.
I don't think nobody is. Nobody's perfect.
Oh,
You know what? I'm just gonna write sideways the entire night.
What?
Oh.
No.
All my notes are gonna come out as hello.
Yomp. Here, if you guys want to listen to the same music, it's so nice and awesome. And I totally don't have a very specific song stuck in my head.
Wait, I love music.
I thought you hated music. Shut up.
Wait.
Liar! Liar!
Wait, I'm neutral on music.
I'm neutral. I occasionally don't care about music, but I occasionally do.
I don't until I do.
Sometimes I specifically hate music.
Sometimes. Such is the world we live in.
Such is a swirl.
In the ever-changing world in which you live in. How you doing out there in Twitch.tv?
Whoa!
Hi, everyone. This is OC Happy Hour.
This is the universe.
It's been.
This was
Yeah,
supposed to
been.
happen a
It's
couple
been.
weeks ago. But turns out July was a bad month for everyone.
July. We're not even in July. You know what was supposed to happen a
That's
couple weeks ago?
Call it in.
It was a bad time for everybody.
That's
One of us was in the hospital for a hot second. The next month, it was con crunch. No one had time.
May sucked shit. June is weird. July's gonna be difficult but doable.
Oh.
August is normal.
August is normal, thank God.
I don't think I could deal with an unnormal August.
It better be. Oh. That's be on an 8-hour
Anyway.
train. It better be normal in August.
Oh my god, yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to do this a couple weeks ago. We didn't because everyone had stuff, so now we're doing it now. And even so, people still had stuff. R.I.P. MJ. We'll hear more about
Oh.
Morak next time.
Oh.
We love ya.
We needed some sleep, although I could rest to explain that I think we all need some sleep.
I need
I
some fucking
am-
sleep.
Perfectly fine, all of it.
But I'm desperate.
Excuse me, all
I'm
of the time.
desperate to show you guys my presentation. I can't wait to show you guys my presentation.
Can I not? Hold on. I thought I changed the opacity of my shape, but it was my whole layer. Can you not change the
Oh!
opacity? Wait. Huh?
Dude, just make another layer on top of this.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Dude.
Wait, how do you... All I can do is copy a layer. Wait, how do you... No, I found it. I found it.
There. The
I know how to
like
use
new the
Technology.
new layer button on Magma is stupid. It's an awful
Why is it
placement
just
for
a
a new
square
layer
with a
button.
butthole?
Yeah, like my brain keeps automatically thinking that the duplicate layer button is the fucking create layer button, but it
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah. It's the butthole is the create layer button.
It's the butthole.
the butthole.
We didn't do order, I think.
We're here for a reason.
Hey guys, hi,
What's up? Super chill night.
what's happening? Oh. Alright.
Oh. There's like 3 of us here.
Yeah, George,
Um,
the 3 of us.
George, the 3 of us. Does anybody specifically want to go first?
Do you want to fucking? Do you want to roll for it? You want to roll turn order?
I love rolling.
I can roll.
I love dice.
Dice in front of me.
That's like my whole thing.
We
Love
can-
it.
Should we roll a d6?
Yeah, let's roll it.
D6.
Yeah, 1 and 2
We can
equals
just, we
1.
can just roll a fucking D4.
Yeah, why are we rolling a D6?
Okay. Cube.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, it does spread more evenly with the D6, but I don't give a fuck. D4, here we go.
What if it rolled off my desk?
That is a 4.
I got a 1.
Okay.
I got 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I guess that means you first.
No, obviously it's backwards.
Oh, okay.
Get
Maybe,
fucked.
maybe you should have decided that.
Get rich, scrub.
Nobody set up the rule for it, so...
Golf rules.
Alright. You want me? I'll
I
go
could
first.
go. I could go first if you want.
No, I'll go first.
No,
I'll
no,
go
I know.
first.
I can go first. I can
No,
go first
I'm
if you
not.
want.
Oh no, please. Oh no, please. I insist.
please. I can go
Oh no,
first.
please. Oh no, please.
No,
Oh no,
no.
please. I insist.
Let's help. The parents are fighting again.
If we were somebody's parents, they'd be screwed.
If we were somebody's parents, someone would die. Let me
Oh my god.
They'd be
pop
bees.
this up for you.
Good news. Bees.
Bring it up. What do you mean, dude? What's happening?
Oing, oing.
Oh.
Do that, and then I do that, and then I move this. Oing, oing. Apologies,
What do you mean,
it's been like 2 months.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been.
It's.
Yep.
Rocks bound.
You want to capture my window, please?
Highlight my message.
In my message?
Oof.
Yep. I clicked
Yay.
the correct thing.
Hooray.
Choice. I did not just open our entire Discord message.
Woo! It's fine.
Well, because it doesn't say like pop-out window or anything on it. It all just lists it as Discord.
Wow. Yeah.
Everything's just Discord.
It's called.
Wait 20 seconds.
Wait 20 seconds. Okay.
Wait Benny Beckons.
VOD watchers, smile and laugh.
Whoa.
VOD watchers, happy yay.
Happy Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, yay, yay, yay.
Yeah.
Oh well, la dee da. Oh well, la dee dee da
Well,
dee dee wee,
la-dee-da.
la da dee dee wee wee yay wee.
Whoa.
You laughing at me?
Wow.
Stop
No,
laughing at me.
No.
Stop.
Everyone assumes I'm being fucking mean to them when I do shit.
Stop laughing at her. What the hell?
Leave me alone.
ain't my fucking fault. You're low self-esteem. Get over yourself, man. I got a reason to insult
Wow.
you.
Wow.
No, you started giggling just as I was doodling something, and I went, stop laughing.
I have a
I
presentation.
know I can't
full
draw, you don't
screen.
have to tell me
I have a
twice.
presentation full fucking screen. I can't see shit. Are we ready?
Yeah, yes.
What a coincidence.
Okay. Hi. My shit's on Moss tonight, everybody. It's on Moss, and it's usage in computing. I had mentioned way back in the crash course that that mosses are used in fields of computing for storing and recall of information. Let's dive a little more into that. So, if it lets me. Yeah, okay. So, short bit of history. Many decades ago, they found a certain type of MOS that could be configured to store and recall information. So, before there were really MOS chips, people would just go out, find patches of MOS, and plug into it. And you can still find field kits like these. They're kind of for more like professionals and rangers to use. And nowadays they also have radio relays for overall networking. But yeah, and there's probably still hobbyists that make use of natural patch MOS linkages. Yeah, this is just a close up of some structure of it. It's just to have that there. Yeah, and that's it's rudimentary. But depending on sort of size of MOS patch, you can get some good stuff running on it. Kind of like larger patches, you can even get image and video hosting. A lot of the times it's used for things like archiving and like encyclopedias and stuff like that. When radio linkages became more of a thing and stuff like that. There were more personal pages and information sharing and things like that. Yeah, and that's websites are, well, I guess Moss sites are like the way I like to think of it is like, it's not like modern internet, and it's not like DARPANET type stuff. It's not really kind of 90s net. It's sort of like early 2000s, like live journal, star rating, YouTube, that kind of era of websites ish. Is sort of where we're sitting. Though there's probably some certain experiments in more powerful, more responsive websites, stuff like that. Yeah, the natural patch moss has its limitations, and slowly people began to figure their way around those limitations. They began to understand the mosses better, began to basically kind of bioengineer mosses for more data density, and more complex recall, information synthesis as well, things like that. And the first moss chips were made, and just like modern CPUs, they only get smaller and faster, and require at least with moss chips, there's some focus on minimizing resource usage, because it is a piece of moss. You have to sort of keep it in certain conditions, and so making the moss chips hardier, making them require less, is a big thing as well. By watering your computer, I don't mean that you're probably going to open up your case and fucking spritz it with a goddamn mister. There's probably some little systems in place for you to just sort of like keep a little water tank running. That'll just sort of occasionally kind of drip things in there. Which probably also goes with, I think I mentioned in one of the earlier presentations, a possibility of like, if computers require spell components, having that be something that also has to be like reloaded after a certain amount of time. Like having to like kind of, you have to open up your computer and feed it cartridges and things. It's funny. It's interesting. Okay, so yeah, moss chips on average don't need as much resources as like natural moss, but they can still be cultivated, and sometimes they are built quite hardy as well. So sometimes they do a little too good, and can kind of exceed themselves. And since the whole thing's networked, just kind of imagine a CPU the size of your motherboard. Your computer starts getting a little bit strange, a little bit nuts. Yeah, it's something. Usually these are just kind of kept at bay if it's not really wanted, because sometimes you don't really want the computer to like get distracted. So it's just like, no, kind of stay within your bounds, please, thank you. Because otherwise it does other things. Yeah, if it's the thing that I want to strike with computers in this setting is that I think a lot of the time with like sentient machines, things like that in fiction, it's, you know, quite a novelty, because it's a piece of silicon that's learned to think. Oh, isn't that crazy? It's like, No, I want it to be a thing that just like, yeah, like technology has been to some degree a living thing. Like there's always just a little piece of moss in there, and I think if you get enough of it together, it'll start displaying behaviors because it's a living thing that's like able to think. Um of course then there's questions of like moss history. So historical record, there's no clear evidence of mosses being used for information storage and recall in critter times, and we have basically no good historical record of the worm age, so we have no clue. They were often used in maybe medicinal poultices, or sometimes just ritual ingestion. They would have stories of being able to just like, oh, maybe we can receive premonitions from it, or like access some higher plane or something else. They do what they want, and yeah, there was some bare bones scientific approaches to trying to understand what the moss can do and how it can be used to their advantage. But you know, they didn't know how to really uplink to it. So they didn't really get to take advantage of that, as far as we know. Of course, anytime that I bring up moss computing, first question out of everyone's mouth: what happens if I eat it, though? There's like I said, some historical record of ritual ingestion, though the writing on exactly what happens as they eat it and what they intend to get out of it can get quite esoteric. But at least with modern mosses, you eat some and you tend to just kind of like you get a little bit of information from it sometimes. like I made a joke for a while that you eat it and it just updates a Wikipedia article with your name on it. But I think personally, like the moss itself would have evolved this method of storing and sharing information to store and share information with itself, and the information that's only really concerned about is like environmental conditions, humidity, sunlight, soil, things like that. And you eat a bit of moss and and like all this information is very suddenly beamed into your head for a second. It's weird. A lot of people tend not to want to just eat some moss off the ground because it don't taste good. It doesn't taste good, and it kind of makes you a little sick. And really all you get is to know what the humidity was last week. There's some people that say that, oh, it's less of a like oh, the moss is giving you information, and more it's just like it's an exchange where somehow you're kind of feeding the moss a bit of your memory as well as it feeding you a bit of its memory. But like that would involve the moss being able to like remote transmit, because I mean, you've just eaten the piece of moss. I don't really understand how that information would get out of you to the moss. But who knows? Some people think that if you eat enough moss, you kind of like copy yourself into it. There's ghost stories, things like that. Nothing really solidly proven. Yeah, and that's mosses. What do you want? What else do you got?
I think my favorite note on this so far is moss used as LSD. Hell yeah.
It's like LSD that like lasts for a second and just kind of tells you like soil like pH.
Soil pH. What the humidity was last week. I like that.
Yeah.
So
How much water fell this month?
How much water fell this month?
Please tell me. I must know. What was the
Moss,
rainfall?
water your computer, water-cooled PC.
I had
Yeah.
that same thing. I was like, reconstruct water cooling systems.
That's true. That's true.
So-
I mean, but it's interesting because it would be a water cooling system that would be like
That
bleeding
is
water
made to
slowly.
leak.
It is
Yeah,
made to
It's
leak
like a
slowly.
little terrarium.
Exactly, it is a little terrarium.
I love that.
Who make moss? Moss always? Moss all the time?
Moss all the time?
Where
Who
moss
make
come
moss?
from? Who make moss?
Where moss come from? Well, moss come from
Did
the
it just originate
forest.
from original moss? Or
It
is
must
this a
come-
special kind?
It's a certain type of moss. It's not every moss can store and recall information.
Damn.
Yeah, the patches of it are like few and far between.
Does it look like moss? Normal moss?
It looks kind of like normal moss. I think if I personally don't know enough about mosses to know how easily you can tell between different types of moss. There's definitely some way to tell. Yeah. However, whatever lengths botanists go to know what types of moss there are. And moss chips overall, I mean, they're like, you know, they're grown. There are labs to like fucking, there are labs and things that deal with this. Yeah.
Now there's a question.
Mm-hmm.
The moss chips.
Yes.
Can you eat those?
Can you eat it like a chip?
That's what I wrote. I was about moss chips. Yum.
Not advised, because one, you're definitely like ruining a very delicate piece of equipment.
Mhm.
Okay. But
um,
like, what if you didn't care about that?
if you didn't care about that,
They give you a more powerful connection to the moss.
scraping the moss off the chip is kind of difficult, and if you don't care about that, if you eat it, you probably get some fucking recall of where it's grown, or like how it's been like you just fucking like
Does it
get
crunch?
some. It's sort of it's like well, I mean, if it's been properly upkept, if it's been properly hydrated, it's probably kind of chewy. It's probably kind of jerky-like, honestly. But if it's dry, it's like a church wafer.
I love that.
Yeah.
What else have I had?
Do I become the moss if I eat enough?
We don't know. We're not sure. I mean, you'll become sick. You'll throw up if you eat enough, I think.
Can I hack the moss by eating the moss?
The thing is that, again, like, how would the moss you eat share information with the moss around you? You've just eaten it. And as far as we can tell, moss can only share information by contact, and can't really like share it remote over any distance. So, as far as we know, there's no way for that moss, for that information, that data to get out of your belly into the moss on the ground.
So, what if instead I lay down on the ground, I bite the moss.
You lay
I don't
down
bite
on the
it-
ground.
I don't bite it off. I just
You
bite
bite
it.
the moss. Because there's no real feedback to tell you whether or not it's recorded any information from you. You've interfaced with it. You've plugged in to it. You kind of you taste it, and you sort of know how cloudy it's been the past month.
What if I just take the moss, put it in
Uh-huh.
my mouth, and don't eat it, and don't swallow it? Do
and
I
you
get
just
more
kinda-
time
and
with
you just
it?
kind of hold it there. You just kind of hold it there.
What if I have a piece of moss? And then I
Uh-huh.
I hold in my mouth.
You just kind of hold it under your
Do
tongue.
I get more time, more connection? Or does it still only last a couple seconds?
It's much fainter if you don't sort of
damn.
chunch it. It's much fainter if you don't chunch it. The information's kind of stored in its little fucking plant cells.
But what if I hold
Sorry?
it in my mouth and then I periodically spit it out and put it back on the moss on the
Again, we don't know if maybe if you do that and then you pick up another piece of moss and you fucking eat it and you have the great memory of the inside of your mouth.
Oh, they just said a good one. Can you use the moss to brew a wine and drink knowledge?
Can you use the
Oh my
moss
God,
to brew a
that's
wine
so
and drink
good.
knowledge? I mean, that was probably tried in Critter Times.
In
Like,
Critter Times, was it worshipped like a god?
No, it
Like,
was
you
not
know
worshipped like a god.
How they used to drink,
Good.
like, the Mayans used to drink, like, cacao
Yeah.
and, like, fermented cacao so that they would, get super fucking drunk and go into trances.
I think the question in my mind, is like, are there any real world examples of mosses used in brewing? Because if so, that'd be awesome.
There's sea moss. I don't think
Something
you
to
can
look
brew
into.
with it, but you eat it. You can eat it, and there's a bunch of there's moss that you could weave with. What if I weave with the moss?
If you weave with the moss, well, if you weave with the moss, that's probably how the first rudimentary moss chips were made. I'm thinking of like kind of the first magnetic storage drives, which were made by like literally like weaving copper wire through these like small magnetic cores. That's how the fucking data storage on the Apollo was done. So there's probably like some historical examples of sort of like woven cloth like mats of moss for like some of the first moss chips.
Okay.
Yeah. Before kind of other processes were discovered for better interfacing and
If
things.
you're trying to find somebody
Uh-huh.
and there's moss in the woods,
Yeah.
can you find them through the moss and see if they've been there?
Maybe. I mean like the data that the moss stores for itself, the passive data, is kind of hard to read, sort of. Like you can't really like plug in with a field kit and like just get a bunch of like good clean weather data from a patch of moss, unfortunately, because that would be great. But maybe there's some people that have really kind of trained themselves to recognize certain signals.
Could I walk
and-
around eating moss until I found somebody?
You can walk around eating moss until you fall down. The thing is, when you eat the moss, you don't really get a choice of what information you're given. It's kind of hard.
So just keep eating it.
Sure, yeah, just keep fucking rolling the dice till you've exhausted the fucking like moss patches in your woods. You have to fucking find some others.
Yes.
I think my only other two questions were, Well, one wasn't really a question. It was more like a statement. It was like, if you let moss grow out of control, you get
Yeah.
fair weather? With a question
Yes.
mark.
Yeah.
Which I kind of knew the answer to already.
Yeah, if you pop open Fairweather's chest here, it's a bunch of moss in there.
Big ball.
It is overgrown. It is actually somewhat overgrown to the point of slight detriment to Fair. Yeah, because again, the more you have, the harder it is to maintain, and Fairweather is already not really a well-maintained machine, a very out-of-date machine, not very repairable, things like that.
They
Yeah.
have to water themselves.
Yes. I like with Fairweather, it's a thing that, like, you know, they were made as a like terraforming and botany computer. So they already were going into it with some knowledge of upkeep of plants, and I think at some point, like just from like at some point realizing, hey, I have a plant within me, and beginning to upkeep that, it just accidentally kind of exceeded itself. Just kind of slowly cultivated itself to the point where it's like, hey, I'm starting to think more than I'm used to.
I have more sentience than I realized.
This is weird.
Okay. Okay.
You probably explained this a really, really long time ago. And I may have just forgotten. How do field kits work?
Field kits,
Like, how do they connect?
Have you ever gotten, it's like this, like, thing that's used in flower displays where it's like a little puck with a bunch of, like, needle spikes sticking out of it.
Yes.
Just that you can kind of, like, stick, like,
Okay.
like stick the like stems into it, and the flower will stand up. It's like one of those, and it has like some jacks and stuff attached to it. You just kind of like shove it into the moss a little bit, and the little spikes are sort of data pins, like you'd get on a CPU that just kind of like read and interface with it. The sort of smaller moss chips have something similar at a much more micro scale. Think of like an actual fucking CPU and how tiny the pins are on those. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't actually know about that little flower display thing, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Those are interesting.
That was all my serious questions. The only other one is, like, to keep magic going, it's like feeding computers floppy disks. So that's my only other note. So
That's like yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like the moss stores information.
Yes. The moss stores information.
Moss chips store information?
Yes, moss chips store and to some degree can compute on their own.
Okay, but the moss can't like Bluetooth talk to each other.
A moss patch is talking to itself. It's probably doing some kind of rudimentary calculation with the data that it gathers to like sort of guide its own growth or things like that. But as far as we know, moss can't talk remote. If there's a gap between two patches of moss, they are two patches of moss. They don't know each other.
Mhm.
That's why usually field kits come with a little radio transmitter, so that it can sort of share information with a different field kit and interface it with its own patch. Stuff like that.
I see.
I see.
There's probably some configurations where you can get multiple of these pucks and kind of like daisy chain them together if some patches are close enough together.
Mega computer.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then. Note disproven. Cross it
Note
out.
disproven.
Wrong.
Incorrect.
Correct thought.
Just zoom down. Who make moss? Was moss always?
Do I become the moss? It's all like broken, just like little bits
Become
of
the
sentence,
moss
and
if
then
I
my
eat
only
enough.
full sentence is only full sentence. Do I become the moss if I eat enough?
Do I become the moss if I eat enough?
It's a very important thought.
Oh my god, that just brought up a really weird question in my mind.
Uh-huh.
If a body was theoretically turned to moss, do you get memories from that body?
If I die and moss grows over
Yeah.
me,
Oof.
Is the moss just other people? Big question mark.
Moss is not just
What?
other people. No, it's a moss.
I know.
can moss absorb people?
I mean, can moss absorb anything? It can. Yeah. I mean, it's a scavenger.
I can upload
There's
you
probably-
onto the moss.
Well, nothing's provable. Nothing's provable. There's ghost stories.
We need a mad scientist in here.
There's probably a story you would tell at a sleepover of a guy that died, rotted under the moss, and the fucking moss got in his skull. It uploaded his brain to the fucking web,
Mossnet.
to the fucking moss net, and some say he's still out there.
Some say he's still out there.
If certain glitches are happening on your page, that's him. Exactly.
We've created a ghost story.
Yeah, exactly. And there's probably some, like, I'm sure in the fucking Critter Age, they were like, maybe if I eat enough, it'll, like, I'll be recorded into this, because if any of them ingest it, they would know it's like, okay, it is recording information, but they don't have the tech to do the other interfacing stuff with it. So it's like, maybe if I eat enough, I'll know, and it'll know me, and I'll live forever
It's very
through that. It is very intimate, yes.
awesome.
Yay!
Jesus Christ.
You heard it here first, guys. Eat moss.
Don't eat moss.
Moss.
I've said
moss.
I've said it quite clearly several times. It's not advisable that you
moss.
eat it. It'll have an interesting effect, but all things in
Moss.
moderation. You could get quite sick from it.
Eat moss. Eat moss. Eat moss. I think eat moss.
I think you're nuts. Wow.
Oh my god.
Well,
And that's my shit.
Wow.
Thanks.
Meow.
Thanks. Thanks.
Good job.
Thank you for
Thanks.
telling us about moths.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thanks.
Thanks. Wow.
Who's next?
Is it
You
me?
decide.
Okay.
Okay.
Watching your street.
Ah!
I'm watching your street.
You have to...
I'm watching your street.
Oh my god, what is happening?
I'm yippee or yay. Oh, god damn
I'm
it.
also fixing my own recording.
You see up there. You see up there.
Up there.
Up there.
Oh.
Press the button. We're in.
We're in! We're alive!
It lives. Wow.
No.
Wow.
Is it? So I just have a little character presentation. The one I mentioned a long time ago. I'm currently working on a different one. But this is the one that I have. We have Flora, which is nicknamed the Dreamer. So, I haven't done this in so long. My brain is like having a brain fart. So some little character summary on Flora. She's one of the secondary main characters within the Beasts of the Wilds book. Her perspective is meant to help the readers with understanding the role that gods play in the story at large. She is what I have been calling a Dreki Piru, which is half of a shadow spirit from Inferus that was given mortal form, and a descendant of the dragons long gone. So, some background. She spent her childhood within the confines of the Lunar Sanctum, where her mother served as a priestess to Lady Lunas, goddess of dreams. As she reached adolescence, she continued to explore the city of Katona, where the sanctum is located, just out from her mother's watch. So the temple itself I've always described as this like glass tower-esque type thing. So like at the outside it kind of looks like opalescent spires that like reach into the sky, and on the inside it's a lot of like circular chambers. There's like a big like moon pool at the like in the main room and such. It's very like a lot of coolness, just dim lights, while Katona on the outside is like this desert city basically. So yeah. And then as a teenager, Flora, as she's been getting older, she starts to like push this idea that she had that the clerics of Lunas would work better as like public servants than hidden away as oracles, because that's what they've always been. These like priestesses of dreams that like people go to and are just like, what does this mean? And they're just like, I don't know, let me give you a cryptic fucking message and move on with my day. So Flora was like, no, I don't want to do that. So who is she characterization wise in the group? She's like the middle of the group. She's the voice of reason throughout the story. She's like the mom of the group, I've always said. She's a gentler presence, meant to be like a calm amongst a lot of the chaos that is happening. So she's never the one to like freak out and like go off the handle immediately. She's very like calculated, leads with curiosity before she acts. She has a very quiet anger, which is like the opposite of one of the other characters, Vivian. She's also very open-minded in her beliefs, so especially when it comes to like worship and servitude towards the gods in the world, believing that there is no right way to follow them as long as you just put empathy first. She is also the first person that will tell you that the gods suck. So she's like, yeah, they're great and all, but they're also assholes. So and she'll like explain like they make mistakes. They sometimes need to be reminded that they're not the hot shit sometimes, that like they need to be dropped down a peg. So some of her relationships, we have Lunas, which is her goddess. From Lunas's perspective, Flora is one of her favorite people. So it's just like, this is my little prophet girl. So Talmai is her partner in crime, partner altogether. She met him when he was taken in by the temple. They became very quick friends. She's also continued some of her training with him after he expressed interest in becoming a paladin for the Eyes of Saren. Vivian was a childhood best friend. She met, like, because Vivian moved a lot, like, Vivian spent some time in Katona. They started their cleric training together. But, like, Flora found herself more, like, infatuated with Vivian than she realized. But Vivian kind of moved around so much that Vivian was oblivious to the way Flora felt. Others, Estelle is a close friend. Flora and Estelle, they bond over time. It takes a while. It's not until after certain events in the story that they start, like, getting on each other's level. Callan is also very close with Flora. He was actually the first to, like, reach to Flora and ask for her guidance the way Flora has always felt a priestess of Lunas should be utilized. So not only did he help her carve the path that she wanted to carve, but she helps him find his way back to the path that he got, like, dislodged from. So, and then Eva, another character in the story, these two are associates. They don't quite get along, but they are more of the, like, strictly professional business. When it comes to them, they do not talk about anything else, because if they do, their viewpoints are very, like, skewed towards, like, different angles. So it's like, we're just gonna start an argument between each other, so we're just gonna strictly business with each other. So other than that, she has a soft character arc, similar to Vivian and Talmai's. Hers looks a tad different, where, like, Vivian's, I believe, is a bit external, and so is Talmai's. Hers is a lot of internal development. She starts the story as someone with something to prove, wanting to, like, bring this new idea about like breaking traditional beliefs within, like, her little community. And then she spends a lot of the time trying to figure that out, while also trying to be, like, a guiding point for everybody else in the group. So again, she doesn't want to be, like, a cryptic oracle that hides and gives people weird messages. She wants to be able to help people figure out, like, where they want to go in life. So I found a couple of these little images, so through, like, Pinterest and pickers and stuff like that, of, like, what her outfits look like towards the beginning of the story. Towards the end, she learns a lot of different things. One of the main things being that worship is meant to be fluid. Again, it kind of proves that she always thought this, like, the gods evolve alongside mortals in the world, and that they should be seen as equals at times, because if and when there is an imbalance, whether it's between the gods, between mortals, things just start to like crack and fall apart. She remains close to everybody, just again being that little guiding light. And she definitely leaves with a goal in mind to be like a high priestess of Lunas. So towards the end. Fun facts. She's traditionally a Piru. She has some Dreki heritage, which shows in like the scales across her cheeks and the way her horns grow in like a crown-like manner. She was born and raised in Katona and was trained under her mother. But she does take up some training under someone from the Eyes of Saren. Her name is Adris Springseeker. So she has studied nearly all of the teachings of every god, excluding one of them, the fledgling. And then later on, it's the people of Katona who are the ones that give her the nickname of the Dreamer, after she's able to like open the lunar sanctum a little bit more to the public. And it's the people who witnessed her fight in the Grove Wars that call her the Dream Walker, which holds a little bit more of a menacing tone about it when they talk about her like that. But music, some lyrics that like just remind me of her. It was hard to find the songs because I'm like, some of these are like, yes, like the majority of the song I'm like, some of the vibes here are good, but other vibes I'm like, nah. But these are the lyrics that like with these songs that I'm like, yes. Abstract. That one reminds me of a death scene that I've written out, so I'm just like, oh, okay. But yeah, other ones, she has her group dynamics, her character themes. But yeah, she's very like my little, like behind the scenes, fragile, but up front, very strong. And then other things. She enjoys the summer time most, and is the second strongest swimmer right after Estelle, even better than Callan, which is just an inside joke. Because Callan's the one with a god that has to do with water, and he should be a strong swimmer, but he's not. She has an immunity to cold, but despite it, doesn't like the snow. That's what she gets from growing up in the tropics. Her mother is actually blind, so she knows how to read the world's equivalent to Braille. Her favorite foods are chocolate and fudge. She loves any kind of lemonades. She is the same height as Callan most of the time. She also loves to cook and bake when she is given the opportunity, and her favorite constellations are Ex-Voltaire, Herodis, and Ortum, and she has thought about the possibility of becoming the next High Ferris of the Eyes of Saren, although she would also like to be a mom one day. But yeah.
Okay.
That's it. My little girl.
Alright.
But yeah.
I think the major question on the mind here is kind of like how she kind of reckons between both this opinion of not holding the gods to as high of an esteem as others, while also engaging in clerical work, and kind of how like does that present a conflict? How does Lunas feel about that?
It's funny because I think that's the reason why Lunas likes her the most, because Lunas was actually immortal before she was a god. She was like a demigod sort of deal. So Lunas herself has been on either side of the conversation. Because her mom wasn't a god, her father was a god. But dear old mom was just like, I had twins and they just happened to be demigods. And Lunas is probably, out of the whole of all 12 of them, Lunas is probably the only one that will be like the one that interacts most with people, because she is the goddess of dreams. She definitely she just tailors them for everybody. She was just like, yeah, this person can get that, and she's like a little weaver of like, I know what all your hopes and dreams are, and I want to answer them to the best of my ability. So I think that's why Lunas is like, this one, I like this one, because she knows. She knows that we're not the shit. so, and she's not afraid to tell people, yeah, the gods suck. so, and Lunas defends her very, very fearlessly. Like, that's my girl. So, but yeah.
I have many thoughts.
Throw them at me.
Okay. How did people react to her ideas of making them be more public? The sanctum thing.
Yeah, how much pushback did she get on that?
Yeah, this has been like a tradition for decades, and this little kid is like, no, open the doors. How did people react to this?
It's a hard fight.
How is she allowed to do it?
It's definitely a hard fight, and it's something that I explore a lot in the book, especially because she leaves for the first time to go on this investigation, and she's like, oh, priestesses of Lunas don't really leave the city of Katona. They don't really go anywhere. They're just in the temple and they don't travel. And she's like, no, I'm gonna leave with Dao Mai and go do this thing. So, and it is a fight between her and her mom, and then it's definitely kind of that gradual, like, I want to prove to you that we can do something better outside of the confines of this house. So
okay. That flows into then, how does her upbringing change her view of the world, considering that she was stuck in the lunar sanctum for all of her formative years?
Definitely gives her an approach to the world that it's a lot of curiosity, where it's like, I've never been outside these walls, never been outside like this city. Like, I've seen people in the city, people pass through the city, I've talked to people, but like, where else in the like world can I go and learn more things? And so when she does leave for the first time, she does find that there are things that are upsetting and she makes her very angry. And that's like what those are the chapters I'm currently writing right now. So, and luckily she has like Tao Mai to like ground her and be like, we got this, we can handle this. And then having Vivian kind of be that, like, Flora is like the closed in one that wants to experience more, and then Vivian was the one that was always out there. So it's kind of like starting to explore that little relationship of like, she wants to follow this little path that this friend that she had a long time ago went on, but they come from different lives. They come from different walks of life. So where Vivian traveled the world and learned everything, Flora was stuck learning everything from books. So it's kind of like, how can we mesh these two together? So, so that gets explored through their relationship.
Beautiful.
So
flows into a next question of what does she think of gods of, quote, bad things if her beliefs are putting others first and being good?
That is something I have to think on, because me myself, I look at the gods and I'm like, yeah, I've got a couple of gods that are like, there's a god of war and stuff like that, god of chaos, god of death, and she's like, she has, I don't think I've delved too much into the thoughts of like those, so too much, because I've always viewed the gods as like, they all have positive things about them, so despite the negatives, so it's definitely something I'd have to think more about.
Positive things about them, but a god of war is still a god of war.
Yeah, so, which, I mean, begs the question, because we do end up in a war in this book. So how's that viewed from her?
How does that change her view?
Yeah.
Is
Good.
her belief system challenged at all during all of this?
Yeah. I'd imagine the belief system. I'm trying to remember the layout of the book. I'd imagine it gets challenged a couple of times, especially when it comes to meeting Eva, because there are people who follow gods with ill intent, and that ill intent can be jarring, especially for someone who leads the way Flora does, where it's like there's no right way to follow them, but as long as you have empathy. So while you meet somebody who's just like, yeah, but there are people who deserve to be taken down, so that deserve death on their head, and she's like, whoa, okay. So but yeah, her and Eva, that would be a conversation between her and Eva, and the reason why they don't get along. Especially, Eva's got some interesting thoughts on the gods herself.
Wow, beautiful. Goes into my next question.
Yay!
We're so smooth with this.
Yeah.
Alright, so then, how, talking about beliefs in the gods then, if she views, needing to follow them with empathy and all of that, but she also, like, she respects them, but she also thinks, quote, gods ain't shit. How do people view this, especially considering her upbringing in a dares to say, like, a more like conservative religious area, like this, we follow the rules and our like set beliefs and blah blah blah. Like if she's like, no, I don't think they're all that fantastic, but we respect them. How do other people view this from her? Do people respect her less for it? Do they not trust her for it?
There's definitely, because I already wrote out one scene between her and Talmai. She says this is the exact thing. I was like, yeah, the gods aren't that great. And Talmai's like, what? It's like, what do you mean? So, and he's like, I think he says, like, that's not very comforting coming from a priestess of Lunas of all people. So, and she's like, so she's very like, what do you call it? She's very like, think what you think. So about me, but this is what I think. So people don't like when she mentions that a lot, but sometimes the way she reads people, sometimes she kind of figures out like who needs to hear that and who doesn't need to hear that. So, and that was like the reason I wrote that scene with her and Talmai. I was like, in that moment, she kind of read him in the factor of like, he needed to hear like, they're not all that great. And he was like taken aback, but like she kind of runs him through the thought process and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like,
So-
they're not right all the time.
Yeah, they're not right all the time. They're human. They make mistakes. We can't always hold them to the highest. We can't always hold them to on a pedestal, because if we do that, then we think every wrongdoing they do is like drastically like harmful, when in reality it's like they are just like us. So
like,
she kind of walks people through that thought process.
This is
when
divine
she says
punishment.
it.
This is deserved.
Yeah, it's the
when they're
difference
just
between
like
that.
messing up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they like divine punishment, like everybody like deserves this, crossed with the idea of like, no, maybe it's just they made a mistake, they missed something somewhere, and like they have a whole slew of other things to deal with because there's so many of us. So So yeah, they're not all that great, and we have to remind ourselves of that. So, but yeah, there are people out there that are like, what? Why do you say that? So, definitely some of the people that she's been around her whole life as well, like in her upbringing, they're like, who put these ideas in your head? Just like I did, from reading books and like learning more than just this small sphere of like traditions that I was supposed to learn. Like I learned anything and everything I could. So, but yeah, difference between, was it, I guess, like getting stuck in your ways and like education and like getting like breaking out of that conformity in boxes and stuff like that, and learning more so you can be more. Yeah. My little oracle girl. So
I love her.
I would love to
I
talk.
love her.
I know, and I'm glad that you like brought all these questions and stuff like that, because like I'm still in the development phase of like certain like ideas in the book, and I'm like, I need to make sure I'm conveying these the right way. So, but yeah, so I'm grateful for all of these questions specifically, because I think it'll help as I'm going into like, yeah, there is a war. She does fight in a war. How does she view that?
Yeah,
So,
how does she view that? How does it challenge her morals? What does
Yeah.
she think after it?
so, because I do have to treat her as like, this is her first time out in the world, and holy shit, she is slapped in the face with a fuck ton of shit that she has to deal with.
She
So-
instantly enters hard mode.
Yeah, there is no easy mode for her. She left the house, and it was immediately like hardcore mode, and she was like, fuck, I've got one life in Minecraft, this sucks. So,
Oh, little Schmoopy, I love her.
yeah, the other thing I wish I could talk about more is like, because it plays such a big role in this story specifically, is her magic and the way it works, but I'd rather it just be left to the books. So, because I could tell you guys all about it, but like off screen, because
I don't know everything about her.
so I do. Of all of the people, of all the gods and their like the magic they bestow on like their followers, Lunis's magic is probably both the most complex and the most fascinating. So because I have Flora, she is the one that I have written like the most ritual magic for. So like there's stuff that she does that I'm like, it has to be done a certain way, or things can break really, really easily, and Flora can fucking like fuck someone up really, really bad with just the slightest touch, and it's like, oh no. So her magic is both really like just, it's fascinating, and it's like so volatile for such a soft like little belief thing. So, but yeah. I have so many little ritual scenes written with her, and I'm like, I love these. These are my favorite.
That's very exciting. I love her a lot. My very first note is actually, hi, baby!
I know. I love her too, and I wish I could did more doodles and stuff like that, but like, it's just, she's not like, she wasn't like Vivian where I could like draw wings and stuff like that. It's like, she's my little like, my little girl. So, and everything I was coming up with in my head wasn't as good as like the things I found. Like, I really like her beginning outfits are very much this like cutesy little like running around like, I think the first outfit picture I ever found was like the black skirt with like suspenders and like a white blouse and stuff like that. but like the other outfit I found, like this little blue and white dress, so with embroidery on it, I was like, yeah. And then the outfit gets more complex when she gets older.
When she loves
So yeah, and I was just like, yeah. And then I think I talked to you about it. I never thought of like, do her horns grow out more or something like that? And because I always just had them like this, like dragon-esque, just kind of crown horns that just kind of like swoop back and like shape her head. But then thinking of doing like a witch's webs design and stuff like that, so a little bit more like dream-esque stuff going on, and like decorations on her horns and stuff. So, but yeah, my little lady. so, and I do like, this is not the last time you see her either. She's in more stories, so she helps more people. She's definitely someone I bring back into the fold. So I don't just like do this story and then leave her. It's like, no, she's very important. So
I think
you'd be surprised.
The outfit changes work very well and are a very good visual indicator of like her growth from being like this little sheltered child to like actually learning about the world and like having her opinion on everything.
Yeah. So I was like, I always imagined her in this one outfit, which is the one like the little black skirt, suspenders, white shirt. And then as I was looking for more stuff to like give visuals for her, I was like, yeah, it's like more childlike and stuff like that. And then growing up, the complexities, and I wrote a scene so long ago now. She does have like the complex, like really like the complex outfit, and then she does have an outfit where it's just like, oh my, you just caught me taking a nap and waking up. Hi. Sorry. So, but yeah. I don't know. It's like, I have a lot of thoughts about oracles and seers. They're like my favorite thing to think about sometimes. So when I first made this character, I didn't see her that way, but as I've been like delving a little more into her, I was like, no, she is my oracle. So she is my lady that will give you both like real advice, but also be cryptic as fuck. So when I get to play with that, I'm happy. And now I'm thinking of tarot cards for a second for a reason. Like, why? Get out of here. So, oh yeah. I know, I'm a lovely little lady. I do have to shout out Crow for some more development in Flora, because when we were playing Princess and I was playing Vivian, I had to develop Flora a little bit more instead of just being this like flat person. I was like, what can I do with Flora? So, and that's kind of where the idea of like childhood best friends came from, growing up together and this one-sided infatuation that Flora has, which I already wrote a scene out between the two of them that goes towards the end of the book that I'm like, I love this. So Vivian's just a fucking oblivious moron sometimes. I'm just like, what? So she's too caught up in like trying to solve problems. Yeah. I believe that's it. Unless, Pal, you have anything?
Oh. You said she was a shadow spirit given mortal form, yes?
Mm-hmm.
How common is something like that?
Let me think of... Let me think of lore I haven't thought of in a really long fucking time. So shadow spirits are descendants from Inferus. So like you have Calum and Inferus. Calum is where the and Kelly come from. So like light spirits. So you have light spirits, shadow spirits. So where Vivian is like, and her mother is like Kelly, like pure Kelly, like there's nothing there. She's just straight light spirit given form. Flora's mom is kind of like that. I wouldn't call her a full one. I would call her maybe like 3/4. So she's not like straight from Inferus. So Flora's kind of like maybe like half that. She also has some Dreki in her, which is just kind of like just descendants of dragons and stuff. So shadow spirits, I would say, are probably more common than Kelly light spirits. So Puros are more common than Kellys. So someone like Vivian, it's like, whoa, you don't come around very often. But someone like Flora is like, oh, like we see you, we see people like you a lot, like you're around a lot, and it's just kind of more normal because shadow spirits just tend to, I wouldn't say like be more social, so it's just they just have more of a want to be in the like the mortal plane basically than like fucking around in Inferus. So but yeah, so she's basically like descendant of Puro heritage. So if you want D&D translation, it's tiefling. So but yeah, so people like Flora, like Flora are more common than people like Vivian. So, and most people like Vivian don't have like wings and stuff like that in the world. So Vivian just fucking lucky chance over there of mom being straight from Caleb. It's like, what? So.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And I do like her design. I think I've described her as like a near sunset type, like that violet color you get near sunset, and like she's got scales and freckles that kind of like shimmer sort of like stars and stuff. So she's definitely reminiscent of like an almost a night sky-esque type being. So it just fits the vibe.
Dang. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
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 Yeah! Woo!
Awesome. That's me. If you want to know more about our magic, I'll tell you off screen.
Woo!
I love talking about that. I love her too. My beautiful baby girl.
Oh, I sort of accepted going first. I'm crashing.
Oh no!
Oh.
Hold on.
No.
You can do this.
Hold on. Maybe I should stop drinking lemonade and I should drink water instead.
Maybe.
Maybe. I have lemonade because I didn't have any water.
You should drink 5 glasses malt whiskey now. Yum. Drink 5 highballs of malt whiskey right before you present.
6 4
Yummy.
logos.
Ooh.
Oh yeah!
6 4 locos to make 24 crazy.
Okay, how are you lighting this? How do I make it? How do I share screen? This goody good.
Oh, goody goody. Get this shit up.
Herbalist girl.
There we go. Yomp. Back here again with another character thingy. If the formatting looks familiar, no it doesn't. Okay.
Dude, as if my fucking character...
It was so long ago, no one will remember that.
The questions that were in it are important. Okay?
Uh-huh.
You okay?
Oh yeah, I kept it.
Alright. Okay. I want to say first. I only have her presentation to show stuff. So we're gonna mainly talk about Paradox tonight, but I do want it known. Work was done on, if anyone's listening, but that can't be shared.
Okay.
because of the manner of that thing. It's
the manner of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of how mystery work. It can't be seen for until done.
The plot chickens. Okay.
It doesn't exist in for until done. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hi. Hello. This is my girl. We're talking about Soraya today. My beautiful, beautiful lady. And all of her issues. So as you can see, Soraya Castillo, the fault of kindness. This is she, me, the kitty. That button doesn't work. Do I have to click? There we go. Who is Soraya Castillo? She is hopeful to a fault and self-sacrificing at worst. Soraya has a knack for falling into situations that she could not foresee herself in. She lives in India, so the place where the story starts. She's lived there for years. She moved away when she was young to expand her knowledge of herbalism and apothecary work that's been passed down in her family through her grandmother and her mother. She established her own apothecary shop and established it very well, creating herself a wide network of connections that are in Inzio and also outside of Inzio, which works very well for her because where she is set up in town is more so near it's in like an in-between spot of the shopping areas that's around the station for the town, where a lot of people come through, but also the work area of the town, which works very well for her as an apothecary shop because people will need things for, like, maybe you want a little perfume or like you need a salve for a cut or something. that you got while working in one of the warehouses, and she can do all that. Working in her shop one day, a ginger daemon rushed in to hide, and without thinking, she assisted her. She hid the stranger from liquidators, and later she attempted to help her sneak out of town, where unfortunately they got spotted, and now Soria is wanted alongside with her. With no other choice, Soria travels to Tovio with her, and with the hope of using her connections to get them both out of the mess. Because she talks to a lot of people.
A yapper.
She's a yapper. Again, my dictionary. Just in case you didn't know.
Must be the words.
Inzio, the town where she's from. Tovio's the capital. Liquidators are the people who are exterminating anomalies. Those are the main important things for this. The threshold of self-sacrifice, that is the main point of Soria. It's at the core of her character that she will always put other people's needs above her own. She's always going to help someone if she can see some way that she's able to do it. She is another recycled character from a previous story thought thing that was just like a little doodad, nothing really serious. But this has always been like a core part of her character. And even if it means that she needs to hide things and able to do it. Which means keeping secrets from people and not telling the full truth about things sometimes. She's my little gooby. And she's set on helping Josie. First, as like I said, it's a very like she doesn't think about it. It's a very like fast-paced, like Josie comes in bursting into her store and is saying that she needs to hide and ducking behind the counter, and then suddenly some of the liquidators are walking in, and these are scary people. And she's able to put the pieces together very quickly without fully puts them together without fully understanding what she put together. Just like, she's running, they came in after, they must be looking for her for some reason. And just, oh no, I knocked shit over and now it's very, very like perfumes and shit everywhere and there's a mess. Oh, now you want to leave. Sorry, I couldn't help you. And it starts with just like these pure intentions of wanting to just help somebody that she saw very clearly needed it. Especially with like, she sneaks her out the back door, she gets her hidden in a warehouse for the rest of the day until night when she tries to sneak her towards the stations. And then like even getting stuck on the train, getting like finding out that she's also wanted now because she was seen helping her and all of that. And like, oh, well, I can still help you. Let's just go to these people that I know. They can help more. But along the way, connecting more dots herself and kind of her intentions behind helping Josie changing with the things that she's able to piece together with her own knowledge of happenings in the world. Like I said, her outlook is very contrast to Josie. Josie, in her presentation, literally pessimism as a main character. Like, she doesn't trust people. She doesn't believe that like people do good just to be good and just to help. Soria she is optimistic. She thinks like one of her core beliefs is there's always a way to fix something as long as somebody is willing to help, and she will be that person if somebody needs it. And her POV is a very, like, the main way to show, like, the difference between, like the way that Josie views things and how other people view stuff usually. She is technically, Lyra said this earlier, she's technically another main character. I was like, damn, you're right. Because she is with Josie from start to finish. Like, it starts with them meeting each other. Even if at times, sometimes they will not want to be with each other. And she is a more open and emotional character than Josie is. So through that is able to give more insight on how their actions are affecting the world and how they're affecting each other. And how some things that Josie does, she's a very like impulsive, like hard-headed person. And it's just like, well, I have to go do this thing, so I'm just gonna like fucking walk away and go do this thing. And Soria kind of is there to be like, well, can we just like stop and like think for 2 seconds before we go do something? Like, we gotta think ahead of just 5 minutes from now. She, like I said, is a yapper. She knows a lot of people. So outside of like the main cast that she talks to, it's also the people of Inzio. It's all of her clients. Her clients also includes one of the other characters, Ghost. So she is closer with him than with the other ones in the group that they go to. And she, through knowing people, is able to... Sorry, I saw an error on my OBS. That sucks. Encoding overloaded.
Oh, okay. So stream die.
Stream lagging. Frames missed. 145.
Okay. Stream die.
Nah, she should be fine.
You're still good on my end.
Yeah, it should be fine. What was I saying? She knows a lot of people. Yeah. And so she's very interwoven with the town of Inzio. So like the whole like the plan to like get Josie out and shit is not just like, it's not just her trying to do stuff. Like, she very explicitly gets help from like one of her neighbors because she has to go back home and get stuff, but they know like she lives above her shop, so the liquidators know where they were last time, and like she's probably bound to come back here, so she needs to get help with trying to get stuff from there, and is able to, within her community, like complete these like tasks in the beginning, whereas Josie is very closed off and, like I said, doesn't really trust people. So she's kind of views things more as like a one-man show, whereas Soraya is like, well, more heads thinking on a matter is better to try and figure things out instead. But start to the end, her story is very much about learning how to stand up for yourself because of her self-sacrificing nature. Whether it be in her everyday life or to somebody that's wronged you or in relationships. She starts as like the very self-sacrificing, and she has to learn how to like put her foot down, put herself first once in a while in her thoughts, because she doesn't mean it in like a self-deprecating kind of way, but she is always like the second thought when thinking through how like things need to be done. Her playlist, it's very short. Finding wee difficulty in getting things that fit the vibes, but these things fit the vibes very well. And then I think I have, yes, her full body, my kitty. And then this is very, very much how her character art goes. Rip my girl.
Oh.
And then my exciting fun thing that I worked on. Are you ready to see something crazy?
Sure.
It's a lot of lines.
Hit us.
Okay.
So for the stream, because you guys know, the world for this, they don't write in like English alphabet. They don't write in like our alphabet and shit. I put together their own writing system. And I made it a font. Thank you, pal.
Yup.
And then I made a font that's also my handwriting, so that I can just use that for word bubbles and shit and be smart about it.
You're
Thank you, pal.
stronger than any of us.
I made numbers. Are you?
Yeah. I think I tried this once and I gave up. I was like, nope.
Womp.
Yep.
There it is.
So the bottom says what is on the top. Do you like my numbers? They're shapes.
I do
Oh,
like those numbers.
Good luck. The numbers took me like a little bit last night to figure out because I was originally just thinking like, okay, yeah, kind of like in the vein of like Roman numerals. It's like I'll start with some dots and then you get to one and it changes the shape and then dots add on to that shape, blah blah blah. But that wouldn't work in a like a keyboard like text
Yeah.
because they can't interact with each other and change without fucking coding that in shit. I'm not doing that. And I'm not handwriting numbers every single time.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that hard. So instead I thought harder. And I made my numbers into shapes. Instead I thought harder and made my numbers into shapes, and they're split into groups of 3. Where you start with a triangle pointing one direction, and you add triangles onto that, and then it changes direction and points in a different way, and then a 0 is just a diamond. It makes sense. It makes sense and it works.
Like I said, you're stronger than any of us. I've tried to do this in the past. It's fucking hard.
Yeah. So they also, it's fun because they don't have capitals. You can't have capitals when your things are just lines. So
Yeah.
that was less thinking for me.
I do
Somebody
enjoy
just got banned by Surrybot.
I do enjoy that Pal and I could actually just kind of read this already because we've had to read this before, I think.
Yeah, it's
If
on
I'm
my
not
stupid,
mistaken.
my stupid little scrap of paper that I used for D&D.
We've
I
seen
made
this
I made
language.
it
We're
for,
familiar with
ciphering.
it. We have a key.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yup. Yup.
might be a funny little spinny dial that confuses us sometimes, but we have it.
I need my little Lord Granny secret decoder ring.
It is your little. It is. And also now that it's a font, I don't have to worry as much about losing my scrap of paper that I keep not putting
yeah.
somewhere safe.
Good.
I just keep shoving it in between books and being like, yeah, I'll find it later.
When you made the font, can you transfer it to a keyboard so if you need to write something, you just write it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a font.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I actually learned that you can input fonts into Canva. So
Oh, hell yeah.
Convo.
if I do a little the text box here, there you go. Look at this. Your paragraph. Whop. There it is. Whop. That says your text
Nice.
box.
And there it is.
There it
Your
is,
text box.
baby. That's not mine. Bitch.
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 So
Oh, that is mine.
if you type,
Lol.
I'm just curious, if you typed on your keyboard, would it type words? So
Yes.
the way you need it to. Oh, Fawn's a genius. This is fucking awesome.
The only thing is, like I was saying earlier, I'm like, well, I wonder how many times I'm gonna typo when I'm doing this,
Yeah.
and not realize.
That's cool. It's really cool.
Thank you, pal, for telling me, reminding me what the website was to do this.
Yup, no problem, friend.
Yippee! But yeah, that's not the main point of this, I guess. This is the most exciting thing that I did, but it's not the main point of this presentation.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there.
And
That
then
ain't
my
nothing to me.
asterisk is just a star. Because I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Just got a little cutesy with it. Oh, and the other lore drop that is in showing the text is their currency symbol.
Which is
And
a really
also
neat symbol.
what their currency is called is Iori. And it's
I like
this little
that.
E, which is, what is it called? A scrumple or something? Scrumple?
A scrumple?
A scruple.
Scruple. Yeah, it's a fucking scruple. Actual symbol. But I made it a little fancy and I added a dot on it. And gave it
All of this.
little serif things and I added a dot.
Love it.
And it fits because the currency starts with an E. Yeah.
Yay! Hell yeah.
This is the apostrophes. It's just dots. I thought it would be fun when doing the writing font for speech bubbles if some of the things were the same as it is in their in-world writing font. So that's why like their apostrophes and everything is still the same. In here, like the question mark is still the same as it is in this one. There it is. There it is. Question mark. Question mark.
The Amber Sam looks funny as well, but it's nice. It's nice.
Oh, that I didn't. That I didn't put in. It's here.
Yeah.
It's through the line that basically I didn't put into my writing font because I don't use that when I type.
Yeah.
That would
not a lot
only
of
be
people
if somebody's
do.
like writing a note in world. So I
Yeah.
have no need for that.
Yeah, that's typically not used in writing
Yes.
unless it's like written letters and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
So
it's
in
only
world.
it's only up here so that it's down here and you know what it is.
Mhm.
Bom, bom. Yeah. Plus,
Paul, are you just doing math? What's going on
No.
here?
$1 million.
Plus sign still looks like a plus sign because we go down here. Because there's not much I can do with that.
Yeah.
There's no need for me to reimagine that.
Do not reinvent the wheel.
Do not reinvent the wheel. Yeah, my girl. Anyways,
I
my girl.
love her. I love our amazing second main character. It's nice to have a second main character.
My girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girl.
My
Questions, thoughts,
question.
concerns.
Questions, thoughts, concerns. Does she resent Josie for bringing trouble her way?
They have to be together, but sometimes they don't want to be.
Uh-huh. Does she view Josie as helpless?
She views her, without saying stupid, she views her as stupid because, she doesn't.
This girl's an idiot.
She's an idiot as in, like, she thinks that she is too stubborn and too hard-headed. And she wants to do things the hard way.
I see.
the one-
I see.
Instead
track
of
mind.
trying to like work together with other people to figure it out and make it easier.
Mhm.
It's that one-tracked mind type deal.
Yeah.
That's great. I imagine there will be some amount of confrontation over this.
Maybe a little bit of confrontation over this.
Maybe, mayhaps.
Maybe mayhaps.
Maybe, mayhaps.
I-
Or maybe.
The fact that you found that's amazing. It's just such a
Mhm.
great visual representation.
It literally is. Yup. Yup.
Yup.
It literally is.
Dude,
Is-
hell yes.
Dude, hell yeah. Hell y'all.
Hell yeah. I mean, okay. Are there any points where, I mean, how quick is Soraya to recognize when she needs help?
Not.
Awesome, as expected. Great.
She, like I said, she very much is like other people first, herself second. So if something is wrong, she'll deal with it later.
That said, what are Soraya's limits? Does she know them?
Will she know them? When will she know them?
Oh yeah. There is I need to pull up my where's my channel? Spoilers, my spoilers channel. 132. In my 132
The number
Intel
string.
312, my number string. It is in it's in that part of 1-2 when they find more things and put stuff together. That is like the kind of like the turning point for her in like the whole like things starting out with pure intentions and then learning more information and kind of changing why she's doing things. I could say more on that later. I've kind of mentioned it before. If the whole bringing up secrets and like needing to hide stuff from people rings any bells. Somebody knows some things that she maybe shouldn't know and knows them. And will not share them. Yeah. When I go hee.
Well, after she finds that stuff out, well, this is kind of both a before and after question. How far is she willing to go before and after? Like, does that change?
Yes, like how to say things without saying the things. Can you ask again?
So how far is she willing to go before? I feel like that's something we do know. So
She does a B&E with Josie, so
okay, so yeah,
she
it's
breaks
pretty
and enters
far
into a government building for her.
So after things are revealed, though, how far is she willing to go then? Is it B&E status, or has she pulled back?
She pulls back a little bit. She tries to divert things a little bit subtly. I mean, I don't think there's exactly any government buildings that they have to break in after they do that first one. They do have to break into a government building to get information. So that is how far she will go exactly. But I think after that, it's she tries to like divert things, like I said, very like subtly, like suggest other ways to do things. Like maybe we don't have to be so brash with these things, and we could like sit back and try to figure it out a different way. But she still like how to word it's not like she will give up on what they're doing, because their mission starts out as Josie is being hunted down by the liquidators, who are supposed to be only hunting anomalies, which anomalies are not people. They are just like magic overflow, basically, that is stuff that got made wrong when everything kind of merged together. And so the real question is, why are the liquidators trying to hunt Josie down? Because there is no reason that she should be pinging off on their things. But they are very set on what they need to do, or what they envision that it is that they have to do. And so they have to get her, because it's, hey man, it's going off. I didn't do it. And they are not morally the best group of people. They eat people, so they don't really give a shit.
There's our cannibalism mention.
I need to mention it at least once every time I talk about this. They eat people. They eat people. So they do not really care about that. It's kind of like a win-win situation for them.
I see.
And so Josie and Soraya, their mission starts out with, well, why we need to figure out like why that's happening and make it stop happening, and like clear your name of that. But then we also have to clear both of our names as wanted criminals at the moment, because we are resisting and escaping and running away. And that's no bueno. So it turns from that to just trying to like clear and like set things straight so that they can go back to normal, to trying to strictly figure out why this is happening to Josie. And then as things kind of fall into place, why those things are like that. And because going back to my string of numbers, 232 interlude 3 1 2 2 2 3. It's it is a two-sided story, so it is like gonna switch between them and the side of like this point of view of the liquidators and Edie and all of them. So you like get to learn what they're trying to do, like why they're doing this stuff, and like you get to see how the things that Soria and Josie are doing are affecting the stuff that they do, and vice versa. Like there are there are separate problems that the liquidators are facing that isn't to do with the whole like trying to capture Josie and these two people that are wanted now thing.
Yeah.
There's their own things that they're trying to solve and fix in a way. Maybe not so much as like fix as in just like stop happening more. And these things kind of get tied in together as they go until it is like it's just one story. It's not a two-sided story anymore. It's just them all together.
I can't wait for that.
I am in a yapping mood tonight. I
No
woke
worries.
up.
We're awake.
I'm awake.
I think the only other thing I had, which feels like I know we have that list somewhere in the Discord about like fun little character questions to answer and stuff like that. I just wrote it down because I wasn't looking at the list, but I'm sure it's on there. Is like, is Soraya a good liar, and does she have any tells? So
She kinda has to be.
Mhm.
But I think in the line of work that she has built for herself, she needs to be kind of like an upfront, give all of the information kind of person.
Mhm.
She is dealing with like a bunch of herbs and plants and shit and making all of these little concoctions. And with that, you have to be kind of like, you have to be upright about it. You have to be like, hey, so like I'm giving you this for this thing, but just so you know, it also like this other shit could happen, or like you can't like mix these things together. And like she has to be very giving with information for this stuff. But she is in the same vein used to not giving all of the information for things. It works in a way of kind of like client
confidentiality.
Confidentiality, thank you. Yeah. Like she knows Ghost. She knows him as one of her clients. She does not know that he is using the stuff that is given to him for poisons and is essentially a gang member until meeting him in the city.
Oh, poor Soraya.
And she doesn't tell that. Like, I know this person. You know this person? Yes, I know this person. She turns to the side. I do not know this person very well.
Off side camera, I don't really know them. I just know them.
He has been my customer for multiple years. Therefore, he is trusted. Because not once has a bad situation happened because of this.
Love that. And I think the reason why I asked was like, does she have any tells? Is because when you mentioned like she starts to subtly divert things. So when after everything, so my brain went, well, if she's subtly diverting things and she's a good liar, is at this point in the story, are there tells that like Josie can pick up on? So just food for thought. To add tension.
To answer? I can answer that.
I mean, you can.
I can answer that.
Okay.
I think like the major tell for her at that point is like she will already by that point of like getting this information, like getting to this information to the beanie, be more like assertive in what she thinks, and like kind of like in it words.
Yeah.
In kind of like it's kind of like in a protective sense. Like I'm very much thinking like, oh, like breaking into the archives where they're going to be breaking into, and like Josie trying to just do as Josie does and like head rush in, and like the whole like grab arm, what the fuck do you think you're doing kind of thing. Like, no, come on, like we talked about this, we have a plan, we are sticking to the plan. And then learning this information and kind of in the time after, where everybody is trying to like reconvene and connect things back at the at like Ghost Place, in kind of withdrawing a bit, kind of like retreating back to the sidelines a little more again, of just being like, okay, yeah, I guess that's a good plan, but I mean, like, we could do this thing instead. Like, maybe we don't know everything yet, and we shouldn't try to, like, rush into something else. Like, maybe we should wait more. And instead of, like...
It's the change of attitude that's her tell.
Yeah, and
so,
it's like, man, come on, you were, like, so gung-ho.
You were
like,
gung-ho,
yeah, this
like,
is where the information
a couple
will
days
be.
ago, what happened? So...
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I just, like, I think we need to gather more information about this first. And kind of just delaying.
I like that. Builds a confrontation. I think that was all my questions.
Yup. Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, money.
Oh boy, yay.
Money from Pal.
Yay.
Yeah, those were my questions. I just have like little notes on it, other than the questions. So then I'm just like, yeah. When you mentioned the liquidators and that they were scary, I went hot and scary. So
Hot and scary.
there is no other way.
It has to be. Oh. Hold.
Hmm?
I have hold on. Here, I can show a doodle on stream.
Woo!
Where's my doodle?
Oh, is that the one you posted the other day?
Yeah, my doodle. Copy image. Paste. They are scary, I swear. my goopies.
Goopies!
Look at them. These guys eat people.
You see these guys?
They're
people. Scary.
They're scary.
They're also very hot. They eat people.
They eat people.
Remember that.
This is important.
Please remember.
They may not look scary right now. They may look cute and adorable. They may look
this
hot.
In fact, this might
These
be
in
a
fact
plus to
are
you.
monsters. So
This is a plus to many people, but
But, however,
do not trust them. Yar.
I love that picture because it shows the height difference for everybody as well.
Edie is like here.
Yeah.
She's like the same size as Judy. And then, but these guys are so big because Soraya is like here.
They're very, very big. And
She's Widow.
Josie and Soraya are small.
They're down here.
Again,
They're
back to the
ugly.
fact, they may look cute, they may look hot at times, they're scary. Remember, these people eat people.
They eat people. Ryder back
They are
here
huge.
built like a fucking fridge. Eats people.
mm-hmm.
That is a big plus to a lot of people, but
Wow.
let me peace. Yeah. Anyways.
I love this.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took a lot of notes this time,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Damn nose.
Because I've been over here juggling fucking chapter writing in the meantime. So, trying to figure shit out. So right now, the thing I'm stuck on writing is Flora's first confrontation with, I don't want to call it false worship of a god because I don't know if that's how it is right now. I have to figure it out first. But first confrontation of like the challenge of her belief of there's no right way to worship a god as long as you lead with empathy first. And confronting that she finds a wall there where it's like, huh? You're doing what now? And she's like, what do you mean? This doesn't make sense. So that's the chapter I'm writing right now. So that's fun. Oh, the riddles of solving a cold case mystery.
Riddles of the world.
When technically all the evidence was there, people were just too lazy to do it. So
Riddles of the riddles.
hell yeah. And the breaks.
Them's the
Them's the
breaks.
Moral of the story, eat moss.
Hey,
Yeah.
boss.
Eat moss.
Moral of the story, you can open up your computer and eat your CPU to gain its memories.
Yomp.
Hell yeah.
Yomp. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
We did
Is
it
it?
in 2 hours this time, guys.
We fucking did it.
Short
too.
night.
Woo!
A short night. Next time, I don't know.
We can
if you're-
export
if you're-
this note page.
if y'all are doing another one this month, I'm not there. So,
No, I
We
think
did our month. Now
we
can
did
next
our
month.
month. And we plan for next month.
See you in July, the normal month.
Normal July.
We plan for a non-panicked time.
A very normal July.
The rest of this month is gonna be panic mode for me. So
Womp.
yeah. So we plan for a non-panicked month.
I don't know. What should our next presentations be on?
I started one on Talmai. He's being difficult. I'm picking him up by the scruff and going, you. So
I think
So-
that's a good
yeah. So
a
that
good
one might
next
feel.
one for
I need it because that one might feel highly unfinished just because I'm still figuring things out and I think I need the questions. So
I don't know what the next one is for me. What do you guys want to what else do you guys want to know? B?
character presentation on B.
Yeah, sure, I could do a character presentation on B.
Woo!
There's
I mean, we see B every week, but in a different
well,
context.
no, you see a different
we
you
see
see a different
every
B.
week. Or
This B does have differences.
deep
What?
dive into space.
Or deep dive into space.
Deep dive into the space people.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
Because that's stuff you don't talk about.
That's true. I don't talk much about it.
I don't want to know about it. I was describing to M Sunday when I was doing their hair, everybody's projects, and I said that yours is post-apocalyptic, but we don't think about it being a post-apocalyptic. It's just sometimes
It's a
it's
new
there,
world.
and sometimes you just go, oh.
Mhm.
It's the type of post-apocalyptic where it's so far past the apocalyptic
But it's
part
not.
that you're just now
They're
in a
alive
really new
still.
world. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're just in a new world and it's fine.
It happened in their lifetime.
It's not. Yeah, it's not exactly a full generation pass.
Mhm. They still know.
But it's just long enough that it's like just out of the memory of the youngest people. There.
It's just enough that they've rebuilt most things.
It's just enough. That-
Necessities.
Like life is normal, but yeah, that's the old docks that are completely flooded. that used to be downtown. That's not downtown anymore.
Now that's the port. And sometimes you look up and you remember the people that left you behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're up there.
Because they're up there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think it's really fun. I enjoy it a lot. I want to know more things about the things that you don't really talk about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
The space people. I will be honest, I haven't laughed really hard in a while, but that moss shit is funny as fuck.
The moss is really
Yay.
funny.
So,
I like that it's always a common denominator that people will be like, so I eat it?
Yeah. Basically,
I go,
every time
"Much?"
I've brought it up, someone's been like, so what happens if I eat a chunk of it?
So what happened if I eat it? God damn it. Why can't we just have one thing? Why can't we not just leave it alone? Don't eat it.
just leave the moss be.
Like,
Why you gotta bother it?
I have to make it just interesting enough for getting a story out of it, but but just inconvenient enough that it doesn't really change society much. Nobody's out here really relying on eating moss because it doesn't really give you much to work with. That's fun, I guess. It's interesting.
I suppose I do another character.
Well, who have you done so far? Soraya, Josie, Marv.
I very vaguely did Marv. That was a rushed, like, I did it in 5 minutes.
If you want to do Marv again, you can. You could also do Edie. So, I feel like Edie is a good next step as well.
She is important.
Yeah. Get your 3, like...
She's as important.
What have I called them? Your 3... your 2 main characters. I can't remember what I called it. Was she a protagonist or she's an antagonist? But yeah, get your 3 main
something drives story something.
Yeah, I'd have to go look at my notes, and my brain is so like. But I would do Edie next because that's your next big main person. So, and then you could always revisit Marv. I'm a cowboy, baby. Yeah.
I think you should play roulette with his playlist
again. I don't know what song it was. Like, I'm assuming I know the song. Like, I'm pretty sure I knew what song it was, but a part of me listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, was I supposed to listen for a very specific thing?
You're supposed to listen to the lyrics.
Or just the vibe of the lyrics. So there was one song that was so wildly out there that I was like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Yes. It sounds like a normal country song. It sounds like a normal country song, and then it's not.
You look at the lyrics and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, did I just hear that? Did I just hear that right?
So yeah, so my roulette number was 7. So I got 7 in before I heard that one, and I went.
Marcus's was 9, and then he was
take. I was like, so
he was listening at work, and he kept coming out, and he'd be like, I don't know if I hit it yet. I'm like, no, you'll know, and he's like, okay,
you'll know.
And he would come back like 5 minutes later, and he's like, I don't know if I thought it was, but I don't think so. I'm like, no, you will know.
You will know.
And he just came back,
quite
and then,
obvious to you.
Unconsciously
later, came back and just stared at me. He's like, I know what it is.
Unconsciously, I listened to all of it, and I was like, did I hit what I was supposed to hit? Am I missing something here? And I was unconsciously, though, I did hear that one song and went, the fuck? All of this is normal. What the fuck is this?
No, it is not. Is not.
So,
no, we didn't.
Yeah.
But it's fucking funny.
It was funny. Yeah. I think, what is it? My order, Talmai is next. Yes, because I need the most help on him right now, so I need the questions. And then my debate of who to do first, Callan or Estelle, and how to present those. I'm assuming I do Callan first and then Estelle, because she is the pinnacle piece, and he is. I was about to call him an accessory. He's not an accessory,
and he's just there.
So this
guy's just in the corner.
she is the final piece, and he is like the puzzle piece solver, basically. She's the lock and he's the key. Or the other way around. I don't fucking know. Right? They come together so much that I'm just like, who are these people separately? I don't know. So
Ooh. Well, that's something you gotta work on.
that's a question. And I do know them separately. It's just my brain doesn't separate them anymore because I put them together so much. So but yeah, so it'll probably be Telma, Kellen, Estelle. And then that's character-wise on that story. So I don't know what to do after that. I can start examining the characters of the next one, or the next story, because I was thinking about that the other day as well, and I made some notes, and I was just like, fuck, I think I figured out the problem I was having. So that's a lot of plot problems that I'm running issues with. So
Wowie, zowie.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, brother.
hell yeah.
This is good news.
This is good news.
Good.
Good news.
We can finally learn about B.
You can finally know B. This is good news.
Good news.
What? Okay.
Right.
I think that was very successful.
It was very
Yeah,
successful.
guys.
Very, very compact, very complete.
Let's.
We know
If
our
we wanna
shit.
talk-
Right.
If we want to talk secrets after this, we can talk some secrets after this.
I would love to